Hey there, welcome to this masterclass on studio acoustics. My name is Jesko Lohan and I run a platform called AcousticSinsider.com where I teach home studio acoustic treatment techniques for audio professionals but without all the voodoo. And Attila asked me to come in and give you a bit of a background on studio acoustics just so you have a better picture of what's going on inside your studio, but also as part of this course and what Attila is doing. Now, instead of trying to pack everything I know into a sort of 45-minute master class, I decided to give you 6 myths about treating a studio instead and what to do instead. These are the typical stumbling blocks that I've seen people trip over and that really keeps them from getting results when they treat their studios. So these are things that you need to watch out for that are typically very widespread knowledge, but usually they don't go far enough, or they're just not that applicable in a home studio. So that's what I want to go through with you today. Now, who is this for exactly, this masterclass? Well, if you're a music producer, a mixing engineer, a recording engineer working from your home studio, and you're kind of DIYing this space, you're using your spare bedroom, your attic, your basement, you're converting that to your studio, and you want to get professional sounding results from your home studio, you want to make sure that the work translates properly outside of the room. And you have to make sure you want to make sure that you're getting everything out of your room and speakers, but without breaking the bank, because obviously this is your home studio and you're kind of doing it DIY style. So if this is you, then this masterclass is for you. Just to give you a bit of a background of what the kind of work that I've done, these are some pictures I want to show you from clients that I've helped through the process of treating their home studio. So this is a very small home studio. I think this is from a client in Canada. So you can see this works in small rooms, but it also works in much bigger rooms. So this is a control room from a big church, also in Canada, I believe. But just to show you that the same approaches that I teach work in various sizes of rooms. Here we've got another client of mine. This is actually just after he finished treating the room. This is in Italy. He's in an old city wall. So a lot of these walls are heavy stone, very thick. This room had an insane reverb time. The empty room did anyway. But so we can see it working here. And here's another example. So this is from a basement studio in a private house somewhere in the States. So what are we going to talk about? Again, this isn't a full how-to guide. These are the biggest hang-ups that keep you from getting results. That's what I want to talk to you about. And with the goal of helping you to focus on the things that actually matter and not get so bogged down by things that really aren't that important in the grand scheme of things. I want to show you the things that actually move the needle, or rather keep you from focusing on the things that really move the needle when you treat your studio. Now, of course, I'm not going to leave you hanging at the end in terms of what you need to do. So I've also got my home studio treatment framework for you to download probably somewhere under this lesson in order for you to get started and really understand the steps that you need to take in sequence when you treat your home studio. So that includes both setting up your speakers in the empty room, finding your listening position, positioning your setup in the room, like which wall you have to face, but then also obviously treatment strategies. So with porous absorption, bass traps, when to start thinking about resonance absorbers, how to include measurements in the process, when is it a good time to include a sub, speaker decoupling is in there. So all these components that make up treating your studio, that make up the sound in your studio, they're all in there, but in sequence, so you know what to focus on at what point, and explaining kind of what you're trying to do when you take each of these steps. And then finally, I've got a live consulting call with Attila, where we look at his room in particular. and what he's done there. And we discuss some of the details of that, just so I can show you kind of how you would go about some of the things that that you look at in detail when you look at a certain example.